Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. How are you doing today? Do I look sweaty enough? It's another hot summer day, and as you can see, my lipstick's even starting to feather. We'll take care of that. Do you like the non-feathering part of my makeup? I'll give you a close-up look. These greens. If you want to know how I did it, stick around. And this is the palette I used, my Too Faced Then and Now palette that I have been using the heck out of. First of all, would you like to see Tabby Boy? Check this out. Oh, my baby God. Oh, my big baby God. Look at my big, beautiful baby. See, a video is not right and done and ready unless I have a beautiful cat. And kitties are lucky. They wake up like this. They're so beautiful. But we humans have to put makeup on to be beautiful. So with that, let's get started. First, I'm gonna... Oh, and I'm doing another daytime filming. I'm guessing it's around 6 p.m. For some reason, the time is not showing on my computer, but it's actually fairly quiet. I turned off the TV that was running in the kitchen, or rather, I turned the sound down. And as long as my roommates don't make too much noise, we should be okay. There's actually no noise next door with the crazy cha-cha music people. Of course, there is a noisy church that might be disruptive. Hopefully they won't. Oh, and Tabby Boy is leaving. Tabby Boy, you see, that's why I have to show them to you in the beginning, because otherwise they leave. And now I've got to clean off my hands, because we don't want kitty germs in the makeup. And I touched up my polish. I didn't want to have chalk polish coming in. You guys, I am so stoked. I am definitely going to Washington, D.C. in a couple of days. That's why I think I'm going to do this video and maybe do a story time after I film this, because I might want to do some batch filming. I want to give you guys a heads up. A couple of months ago, I had an incident where a tooth was loose and fell out, and I filmed the video thinking that I was going to have a big disaster, but I never ended up posting it because I didn't think it was an issue. Well, I have another loose tooth, and it could come out any day now, or hopefully nothing will happen until after I get back from Washington, D.C. But in the event that something happens, I'm starting to do batch recordings so that I have, if I have to be off camera for a week or two because I'm full of cotton or whatever, I don't miss my schedule, because I know that you guys rely on me to keep my schedule every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I want to do that. So fingers crossed I don't look all butchered up and messed up, because I am vain. And let me take this off, because that was really feathery and stuff. It is serious. Look at this sweat. Can you believe this? It's so sweaty that even a lipstick that's half oil feathers. It gets in your wrinkles and stuff. So alright, let's get to the makeup. You know, this palette still smells like chocolate birthday cake. It's really, you could do a lot worse than getting this palette. This is very useful. I just wish the purples were a little brighter, and this green is not a particularly bright green, but I like it. It's kind of heavy. You could probably use it to defend yourself, which I almost had to do earlier today, but I'm going to save that for the story time. This is what's left of my coconut oil. I still, you know, the bag, I want to show you something. The container that I usually keep my makeup brushes in, this thing here, it's soaked with oil. I had to wash all the brushes that were in this. I'm going to have to wash this. It has a few other things in there. That oil got over everything. Just, you know, watch when you're picking up your computers, watch the cables, because they get caught and you knock things over, you know. That was so stupid that happened, but hey, it was my own fault. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is pour some of this onto my hand and take off one of the sides. I was going to actually take everything off and start over. As a matter of fact, you know what? I may need to do that, because I don't know. I still feel like there has been some fading involved because of the sweat. I did not touch this up any during my walk. There was a parade earlier. At 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, there was a parade. And I went to see that. And parades are always fun. You know what? I'm going to do both sides. What the hell? I'm not going to mess with the eyebrows though, because they really don't need to be messed with. You know, I'm vain enough that I want to still look halfway decent. And I really don't like the way I look without my eyebrows colored in. If you were English and Irish, in the Irish parts where you got your red hair, and you had see-through eyebrows, you would be complaining too. See, even now I feel like I look so plain and boring. I don't like to not wear makeup. Even if I'm just running to 7-Eleven. You know, one time when maybe I told this story again. If I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But one time I slipped and fell in my apartment, and I cut my eyebrow open on the woodwork in the kitchen. And luckily my mother was around, and she used Band-Aids to butterfly things together so that I didn't have to go to the emergency room. I think this was before I got insurance, so I wouldn't have been able to pay for things, and I didn't want to suffer the indignity of getting indigent care. Not that I think that there's anything wrong with that, not that there's anything wrong with being poor or homeless. Been there, done that. I hope I don't have to do it again. And I have a good deal of homeless friends on both coasts. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is when you have butterflies, bandages in lieu of stitches, you can't put makeup on a healing wound. And I actually had no choice but to go out of the house not wearing makeup. And I figured 3 o'clock in the morning, I run to 7-Eleven. Who's going to see me, right? Well, guess what? One of the yoo-hoos I know in town saw me. And I don't want to be undiplomatic here, but let's just say he's not going to be hired for the cover of GQ magazine or Rokk magazine or whatever, and I don't want to be unkind, so I won't say anything more. Well, he didn't recognize me there because he'd never seen me without makeup on. But when I opened my mouth to talk to the clerk as I was getting my receipt, then he realized he knew me. Later on, he told me that he didn't recognize me and that he thought I looked hideous. And you never forget when somebody says something like that to you. I know I'm a dog without makeup, okay? I don't need some man to tell me that, especially a man who has less teeth than I do. And, well, I really want to watch my words because I don't want to offend any of my viewers, even though when you're pissed off you say things out of anger, which is why I'm not on Twitter. So anyway, I never forgot what this guy said to me, and I guess the reason why he said it is because by that time he got himself a sugar mama, a lady that comes in town and gambles and she buys him liquor and whatever. But I never forgot, Dad. You never forget the people who call you hideous. And I've been called hideous with makeup on, but but that particular circumstance, I felt kind of vulnerable. You know, I had to go out because we were out of coffee, but that was the last time that I ever went out of the house without makeup. Okay, I don't go out without my war paint on. That is, I like my makeup, and that's just the way it is. And I don't think that women, or men for that matter, should be shamed for loving makeup. And not all people wear makeup because they think they're hideous without it. But makeup does make people look better. That's just a fact. It's just like if I didn't wear a bra, I would look flatter as a board than I actually am. So yeah, bras are not just to keep your headlights from showing. Bras are actually to fill out your clothes just a little bit so that you look better. And I made peace with how my body is maybe never could ever get on the cover of Playboy unless they decide to have their awesome A-cup issue. But you know, I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime, okay? You know, I try to keep it honest and real, as safe as it is for me to do so. I mean, I'm not going to tell you guys all my secrets, but I'd rather tell the truth. And I think that maybe you guys would appreciate my honesty. You don't you expect YouTubers to be honest, especially us small guys. You know, maybe once you have millions and millions of subscribers, you have more temptation to obfuscate things. You're more likely to be paid by brands and they'll say, hey, our products may suck, but if we pay you lots of bucks, you'll tell everybody they're wonderful. Well, us small-time YouTubers aren't going to be approached by brands for these things, so you're probably more likely to be told the truth by the smaller potatoes, okay? I don't know. I mean, I have met a few YouTubers, and most of the people that I met have a lot more subscribers than me, and they've all been pretty cool. Though I met a comic recently who has 15,000 subs, which isn't a lot as far as YouTubers go, but when I told him how few subs I had, I kind of got the feeling that he didn't care who I was, and he never even asked me my name. And I kind of hurt a little too. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I have an ego attached to my YouTube channel. I have ego attached to other things. Because I do have certain talents that I'm pretty confident in. My dance ability is one of them. I'm pretty confident in my artistic ability. I'd like to think I'm well spoken, even though you may beg to differ if it's really late at night and I'm really dehydrated and I'm really starving, and especially if I've taken a couple of hits off a joint, then and I'm talking like Ozzy Osbourne, then I might not be the best spoken person. Oh yeah, this is real smart. There's no mirror here. And I'm not stoned. I'm just hungry and dehydrated. I don't want to film. Okay, if I ate right now, I would not have a flat stomach, and I want a flat stomach, so I don't film when I've eaten. Okay, I want to look good for you and for me, and that's just the way it is. So okay, so you don't think there was any trickery. This is the compact makeup that I used. It's by Color Mates. It's the shade Light. The only thing I don't like about it is it does have mineral oil in it, and I really don't like mineral oil. But it is waterproof. This is the stuff that you would want to wear if you went swimming, if it's sweaty. And this is what I use not only on my face, but I also used it to prep my eyelids. It really allows the eyeshadow to stick really well. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to use brushes on anything else because you can see the sweat. It is sweating. It's just comfortable outside. There's kind of a breeze. The sun is in the process of going down now. But my apartment with this unair-conditioned glory, let's just say cool and comfortable and breezy, is not the way I would describe it. And any of my non-air-conditioned viewers, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, see now, it's mixing with the sweat when I go like this. I had to apply the highlighter using my fingertips. And since I got some on here, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna reapply everything. My goodness, the sweat. You know, actually, when you're sweating like this, you probably don't even need highlighter. And this is just mixing with the sweat. It's probably a little on the scuzzy side, but you know what? I'm going to get in the shower after this. Not right away after this. I think people were saying there was going to be fireworks tonight, but the fireworks aren't on until tomorrow. There was fireworks Thursday also. That was really cool. The Hard Rock Casino celebrating its 1-year anniversary, so they're having different festivities. At the parade today, some people are handing out these wallets that were made to look like $100,000 bills. I don't believe such a currency exists. Maybe it did at one time. Maybe it's only to deposit in banks. I don't know. If any of you guys have worked for the Department of Treasury or the U.S. Mint, you would know better than I do. I can't claim to know about those things. Oh, looks like I affected some of my eyebrows too. I might as well show you what I used on my eyebrows since I did slightly different technique this time. I used the same color for my eyebrows, which is the Wet n Wild Vamp It Up lipstick. This was a special edition. They like to have special edition Halloween colors. It's a good time of year to get your black lipstick and your so dark purple it looks black lipsticks. Any of those witchy kind of things that they sell around Halloween, knowing full well that there's gothic people and punk rocker people and all kinds of fashionable people that specifically shop at that time of year because they can get the more extreme colors. So I just followed the natural shape of my eyebrow, and I used this brush. It's supposed to be a lipstick brush, and it was made by Vivace. It's another 99-cent store brush. Just followed the shape of my eyebrows And try not to get the tail lower than here so you don't look like you're drooping. And try to get them symmetrical. Oh, I better close my door because I hear roommate. There. All right. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. Oh, I feel like I'm wearing too much clothes, and I'm not wearing a lot. Thank you, police, for making noise. No, actually, that might not be police. That might be a siren for ambulance. Okay, the first color that we're going to dip into in this Too Faced Then and Now palette. Now, this time, a lot of times I like to use a white matte for my brow bone color, but I didn't do that this time. But wait a minute, you know what, before I do that, I'm distracted. I think these eyebrows are not symmetrical because the point should be here and this point's further. But you know what, I don't really have time to mess with it. That's an imperfection. I apologize about that. You know, guess what, nobody's perfect. So, screw it. I'm going to dip into, in lieu of the usual white that I use, I'm going to use everything in this palette on my eyes, except for the mascara, of course. There is a very, very, very extremely pale goldish greenish color called Pixie Dust, and I'm going to use a C brush from ELF, or maybe this is Vivace. Actually, I think this is from Vivace. Well, this is for depositing color, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it and blend it too. This, load your brush real good. Then I'm going to apply it the first ½ inch up to the eyebrow itself. And I like to start right up against the eyebrow so that I know that I'm not going to go beyond that and mess up the eyebrow. And I'm going to do that on both. You know, see, I really want these to be symmetrical, and I'm afraid if I did the one eye at a time thing, you would have one that looks less blended than the other. Because if you wear eyeshadow look for a long time, unless you really have good setting products, it will do its own blending. And so that's why I am doing this fresh. See, I'm getting a good ½ inch of this color. And usually this is not a blending thing. This is a depositing color kind of brush. But as you can see, you can streak it and drag it. And that's what I did. See? Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get another Vivace brush. And this is a brush that deposits and blends color. What the name is of it, I don't know. But we are going to dip into this dark green color, and it's called Lost Boys, after the movie. Maybe you've seen it. It had Corey Feldman and Corey Haim in it, I believe, and it's quite a cult classic. A lot of gothic people like it, and people who've ever been street urchins like it. Yeah, I was a street punk rocker, gothic person in California. By street I don't mean whore or anything. I mean I was a squatter. I slept in abandoned buildings. I camped out in San Francisco. I slept in my car the first year I was out there. After, you know, anyway, that's a story. That should be a story time, but you'll think I'm old or something, so maybe I shouldn't tell you. But yeah, I've been around. I'm no stranger to the streets in a good way, and I think it builds character. Homelessness does, if you don't let it yourself turn it into a career, you know. And it's much less fun when you get clean and sober, by the way. So I think that some of the appeal was that when you're partying, maybe it doesn't mess with your head as much. Anyway, getting back to the eyeshadow tutorial, loading this up with that interesting dark green color. That, by the way, reminds me of, there used to be recycled toilet paper. I don't mean the toilet paper itself was recycled, but toilet paper made out of recycled paper. And they had it in really unusual colors, and one of them was a dark green. Well, first of all, why would you have dark toilet paper? I heard Beyonce likes black toilet paper backstage. That's in her rider. Who the hell wipes their butt with black toilet paper? That's what I want to know. Please, somebody who's a member of the Beehive, please explain to me why she likes black toilet paper. Because I don't understand. I try to be open-minded, but I do not understand that. You know, she probably wouldn't like me because of my politics, but whatever. That's a shame because some of her stuff's catchy. But you know, uh, we shouldn't hate each other for our politics. That's ridiculous. If I thought about all the people who I like who don't agree with me politically, I wouldn't be able to listen to any music artists, and I wouldn't have any friends. So we have to get beyond that and like people for people, and just turn the other way if they're wearing a political shirt that you don't like, because you can't expect people to change for your comfort. Okay, so I'm going to go right up to where this color ends, and I'm going to coat like 2/3 of the lid, say from the lash line to about the crease approximately, and then wing it out. Oh, they're breaking glass bottles outside again. I had to yell at people again last night about 3 o'clock in the morning. They were hanging out having loud conversations across the street. And why do people think that's okay to do in residential neighborhoods? But see, they're mixed use neighborhoods, and these people that are coming back and forth from bars, and they've been drinking and God knows what else they're doing, and you don't think to look up and think there's second floors and the third floors, there are actually people living there. People don't think about that, and when you're drinking you don't think. So do the same thing. I'm using the edge of the iris as my guideline here. Where my green eye stops, that's where this stops. I mean, you might as well use your natural things on your body as landmarks for your makeup. That just makes a lot of sense to me. Now, see, the sweat's pouring into my eyes. I got to put some more on. And yeah, my eyes were starting to run, and I actually took a red Sudafed pill. My sinuses were going, and when one nose stops up, I know it's a sinus thing. And I try not to take any pills unnecessarily, even the red pills that I used to take a lot of when I was younger. My sinuses, since I got my nose piercing, which I don't want to tell you the year, maybe I blurted it out in one of my piercing videos or something, or maybe I misjudged by a few years, and I didn't correct myself because nobody wants to age themselves. But when I got my nose piercing, I swear to you, I got far less sinus issues. Maybe because that touched a nerve or something, I don't know. But my health has improved as a result of that nose piercing. I just thought I would throw that out there. I definitely don't regret my piercings. Okay, make sure the wings match. Alright, look at that sweat. Look at that sweat. And there's a fan pointing there. And I'm afraid if I arrange it here, I'm afraid if I have so many things on this chest of drawers here, things are just going to tip forward because these floors are warped. This apartment has been around since, the building's been around since the 1930s. And so it's survived some serious nor'easters, and I don't know how it's held together because the previous landlord, his idea of repairs was duct tape, chicken wire, and melted rubber and whatever. And this building is, I think, literally falling apart because the idiots downstairs, those church assholes, they slam the doors real hard, and there's cracks that are appearing. And if we had another earthquake hit, and by another, I mean anybody lives between here and Washington, D.C., and as far down south as Appalachia, and as far north as Maine. A couple years ago, there was an earthquake we all felt. My mother even felt it. You know, she was, anyway, and she was kind of scared because you don't expect to feel earthquakes in the East Coast. Me, I'm an old hat with earthquakes because having lived in California, I've been through my share of them. And I will admit, they can be really scary. You know, I'm not going to be, oh yeah, I've been through a lot of earthquakes. I have been through plenty of them, and they're fascinating, but they are scary. And I could tell you some of the things that I have done on earthquakes involving being on stage and not having a whole lot of clothes, and everything starts shaking, and that was a trip. Yeah. It'd be funny if some of the people that used to watch me dance stumbled onto my videos. That would be really cool. Those would be some story times. But you know what? I don't want to age myself, and plus there might be people that might be offended at the whole subject of stage dancing and stuff. And hey, if you guys are uptight, I can't worry about it. Especially, but what I would worry about is there's the assumption that dancers on stage might be willing to make moral compromises, and there is a certain percentage of them that will and do, but not everybody does. So don't automatically assume that all stage dancers or all strippers are whores, because that is far from the truth. Do not assume that somebody is willing to do things just because of the way she's dressed. Don't do it. She could be a total goody two-shoes, and she just likes to dress like a slut because she's confident in her body. Never make assumptions. And as far as the people who you think are hookers, whores around here, you would never know. My God, it just. Anyway, that would be an interesting story time, but I think that would be really controversial too. But let's just say you see some really interesting things out these windows. Okay, I'm going to dip back into this palette. I'm going to dip back into Lost Boys with, yes, this is a right brush. This is another lipstick brush, and I'm going to dip into this, and I am going to line my lower lash line. Now, I thought of using upper black eyeliner. I didn't for today, and now I'm too wet and slippery and sweaty, and if I do that, it's just going to feather all over the place and make a mess and raccoon on me and do everything. So, sorry, the wing is going to be with this. You know, I know some of you think my eye makeup is unfinished when it doesn't have a wing and liner, but some days it's just too sweaty hot. Like, I see that there's, oh my goodness, this is going to be fun. I wonder how this is going to, and this is really great if you have green eyes, and you can see my eyes are green. A lot of people like to use contrasting colors because they think it brings out their eye color, but if you have green eyes, this will bring out your green eyes, even though the eyeshadows are green. Oh, and I have more eyeshadows on besides this, by the way, but see? Lipstick brushes are really good for doing detail work for eyeshadow, and they give decent control, real nice control. Oh, these people are fighting across the street. No, they're not fighting, they're just talking with big mouths. At least one thing, some of the people that I correct for talking real loudly late at night, some of them actually apologize. Occasionally people will shout out obscenities, and I'm not afraid of saying a dirty word now and then, but some of the things they say to me are so offensive that I won't say them, that they're very undignified. You know, I would never be the person to talk about, oh, this is ladylike and this is not ladylike. You know, there's ladies and there's tramps. I might very well be a tramp, but guess what? So what? Well, I'm a tramp too, you know. I don't think that's a bad thing. Besides, tramp can mean a lot of things. Tramps are also the people that ride the rails, the freight trains. They refer to themselves as tramps, or at least they did. And you know, I wanted to hop freight trains at one time. I was all set to do it. I was learning more about it. But some very nice hippie guys in Tempe, Arizona, just about the time that I was getting ready to go on tour with the Grateful Dead, only I didn't know that I would go on tour with the Grateful Dead, but they sat me down and they put the fear of God in me, and they told me how dangerous it is for women to hop freight trains. They said that there is this gang called the Freight Train Riders of America, FTRA, and they rob and they kill and they rape women. Well, when I heard about the rape, I said, nah, maybe I don't need to be taking chances like that. So, but I still kind of would like the thrill of riding the rails. You know, I don't really remember Boxcar Willie, but I've heard of him. And in our family, my great-great-grandmother, she had, her house was marked. There is such a thing as hobo signs. Hobo signs are symbols that only people in the hobo community recognize, and they identify areas where They're friendly people that will make sandwiches and make food for homeless people and hobos. Now, not every homeless person is a hobo, and not every hobo is necessarily homeless. Hobos adhere to a code of conduct. They try to be honorable. They try not to wear out their welcome. They try not to leave litter and messes around that will make it harder for other hobos to find accommodations and work. Hobos are willing to work. Hobos don't just want to get drunk all the time. There is a code of honor of hobos. Anyway, when I found out that my great-grandmother used to feed hobos, they would, when my mother, who was largely raised by her grandmother, who was my great-grandmother, because so my mother would sometimes come home for lunch, I guess, and see these hobos that would be eating, that would be fed. So that is, I guess, literally in my DNA. And my mother made the song that she used to sing for me growing up, which I shouldn't sing for you, but it's called Bum in a Park, and it basically goes, bum in a bum in a bum in a park, bum in a bum in a park, bum in a bum in a bum in a park, you're a bum in a park. And I actually sang that to some bums in parks in San Francisco, incidentally. I suppose it's funnier after a joint. So, okay. There's this. Now you can do an eyeliner, but there's one more eyeshadow color I promised you. And that is this bright gold color here. There's a number of golds here, and this gold here is called Twinkie. And I'm using a big brush. It's supposed to be a crease brush. This is from Wet n Wild. I think it's way too big and it's not tapered. I don't think it's really great for a crease color. But get a generous coating on here. And here's where we're going to apply it. This unshadowed lid space here in the corner. Nice big area. Zap that with the gold. And time for the other eye. Oh, I'm so tempted to yell at those people, but it's normal time, daytime, so it's not out of line for them to do that. So I guess I just have to put up with it. Oh, and the people next door, you know what they were doing? I came home last night, and it was between midnight and 1 o'clock. Yesterday was a very long, exciting day. Oh, and I'm probably going to do a story time about that too, because I have some things that I want to talk about. But anyway, I came home, and the assholes that play the cha-cha music next door, I think they're illegal aliens, after I got home, then all of a sudden they turned up the stereo real loud to like 100, and I was telling the people I live with, I said, you know what, I think I may have no choice but to call the cops. I'm not in an effing mood. But then again, 10 minutes later, then they turned it down and they started playing with it, and it would just be my luck that I would call and report it, and by the time the cops would show up, there would be no evidence of the music blasting, because they like to mess with our heads. These people, they drink and they act out of control and they have no respect. And there's like 20 people in a small apartment, and I'm sure half of them are illegal. I can't prove it, you know. One of my viewers, Abraham, my favorite comment probably of all time, when you said that I should deport my illegal neighbors to Iran. You made me smile. You really did. You people who watch my videos, I really appreciate you. I really do. I get a kick out of the fact that you could watch anybody and you watch me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay, hopefully that's enough. I'm sorry for yelling, but I just dropped that on the floor. This is the mascara I used. I didn't use the cat head one because I wanted something that I knew was waterproof. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Superstar X Fibers. Not as great as the ad suggested it might be. This is the primer part. Doing my best not to smear it onto the lid. Oh, yeah, that was fun. See, I'm going to have to really worry if once I get I'm going to have to get vision correction in order for me to get a driver's license again, and I'm going to need a driver's license for me to get the hell out of here and make my way to the West Coast. I still think having that jitney to make a YouTube studio on wheels in for me and my cats, but also a little house. But I'm going to have to drive the thing, and that means I'm going to have to be able to see, and I'm going to have to get a driver's license. And, oh, by the way, I know I said this in the past video, congratulations to Illinois for legalizing marijuana for everybody. But the thing is, it sucks about that, though, is that apparently you can't have the right to bear arms and have weed, and I don't think that's right. Why is it police officers are allowed to drink alcohol? Police officers are allowed to have their guns on them and go into a bar. I've seen them do it. Maybe they're not supposed to be on duty. Cops drink all the time, and they can have guns, and they're trusted to be sane. If you ask me, a person on marijuana is a lot more sane than a person under the influence of alcohol. And it seems to me if a person has been smoking pot for a really long time, they don't get that high, and it doesn't last that long because you build up a tolerance to it. And if that person, and if anybody who knows about pot, you know that if there's some kind of emergency situation that happens, whatever fuzziness you feel from the pot, that's gone, and you spring to action, and you become alert, and you become responsible. So it seems to me, if say I did have a permit to carry a gun, and I could carry it and all that stuff, and I had it in the house, and it wouldn't be in the state of New Jersey because only cops are allowed to carry. But let's say it was in another state, in a good Second Amendment state, and let's say there was a home invasion robbery, and let's say I just smoked a joint, and so I was high, right? If some son of a bitch broke into the house and I went to get my gun and use it to defend myself and my family, the pot would leave me, the THC wouldn't leave me. I mean, it's in me, right? But you spring to action, it wouldn't cloud my judgment. People that pass these laws, either they know nothing about guns or they know nothing about pot. And you should really study both before you decide certain laws. I mean, legalizing, yes, I agree with, but why can't you carry and have a gun and have pot? I don't think that's right. Why should they cancel each other out? So that pot legalization thing is a sneaky way to pass a gun grab. And I believe in the Second Amendment. I don't think it's right that they're doing that. So you guys who are voters, please be informed. And before you are quick to say, oh, I believe in gun control, guess what? If there is total gun control, then only the criminals will have guns, because the criminals do not give a rat's ass about you and me. They don't care about a law. They don't care about a school zone, drug-free or gun-free zone. You're sitting ducks. If they know that you're a law-abiding citizen and you're obeying the law, they don't care about the law, and there you are. So I advocate the guns should be in schools. Teachers should carry. They should be trained. If you have trained people, look at all these people that are recent veterans that have served in the war, that you know have combat training and stuff. Those people would be great security. But you know what? I don't like leaving security to other people. Anybody who knows me from back in the day, my first job, I was a security guard, all right? And granted, we weren't armed, but still, I have that background. Granted, that doesn't quite thrill me the way showbiz does, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to have to clean up and pass a bunch of drug tests. I'm sorry. No, I mean, I don't do drugs, but I do like weed. And that's not going to change, okay? But you shouldn't have to sacrifice being able to defend yourself or your recreational proclivities that are not anywhere near as dangerous as alcohol. Alcohol is so dangerous. I'm so glad I quit. Anyway, gonna put the real mascara on. And you know what? This did not run on me. This did not raccoon on me. You see how I'm sweating. You know, I don't remember if I even put mascara on my lower lids or not. I'm going to start with the primer. I can't wait to get white primer or white mascara so that I can do some experiments with white mascara. I wonder though if that wouldn't come off on the eyeshadow, or if the eyeshadow wouldn't stain it. You know, because that's the thing, is after a couple hours the makeup starts to blend together, especially if you have hooded eyes like I do. And if you don't have hooded eyes when you're really, really young, sometimes when you get older, they do shift and they become hooded. So if it doesn't apply to you, wait a couple decades, it will. Or maybe it won't. But And of course there's always eyebrow lifts and eye lifts and stuff, but they cost a lot of money, and no insurance will cover it unless it actually is impeding your vision. If it's just for cosmetic purposes, you're going to be paying big bucks. How much exactly, I don't know. I've not been able to afford to get any work done. You know. Okay, what do you think? But I gotta put the lipstick on and blush and highlighter. Oh my goodness, I'm sweating all over. Check this out. I'm dripping sweat. Look at this. I am sweating. Oh boy, am I sweating. Whew, sweat. Okay, this is my highlighting, and this is my blush. The Special Occasion 39 color eyeshadow and blush palette from B&H Cosmetics. All the stuff was rubbed off the front. I used this brown here, and since I wiped everything off and put foundation on, I'm going to show you how I did it. You only use a little bit at a time. You really don't want to overdo it because it's a lot harder to take off blush than it is to put it on. Oh, but how am I going to do that with it wet like this? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. If you find yourself really sweaty because you can't afford air conditioning, here's what we'll do. I got it on the brush here. Now I'm going to put it on this finger. Get a coating on this finger, okay? Then here, and dot it on, because you don't really want to get a brush of color and touch it to sweaty skin. That can, and then if you go back into your compact, you just contaminate it with sweat that has body oils in it, has salts in it, and because there is a natural acid mantle and also good bacteria that protect your skin. Your skin is your body's biggest organ, so you don't want to contaminate things. Gonna do this again. Use another finger and do the other cheek. And I am sweaty. And you can go like this. Now, with the highlighter, I'm going to do a similar thing. The color for that I chose was called Electra. And I'm going to use this clean finger here. And I'm going to use, I'm going to have to use the other hand too, because I want to make sure that I'm using clean fingers. The highlighter, tap, and then this is clean. See that the sweat will help it to blend, just glides real nice. I also touch some here. Here I forgot to do, here a little bit, and just use the sweat to blend it. A little here and here. I've been wearing my red MAGA hat, so I don't really bother with the highlighter here. I do the foundation all the way, so you could see. I don't know if I've ever showed you the inside of the hat. Well, here, I will show you. The inside of my hat, the foundation comes off it no matter how many times I wash it. So, yeah, I never used to wear ball caps. I never thought they were flattering. Plus, they flatten your hair. And that's the thing, is you can't have big hair and wear them. They mess up your hair. But, oh well. Okay, time for the lipstick. And that's this B&H Cosmetics. I think I took the label off of this. I don't remember. I have several reds from this company. I don't remember whether this is Timo or whether this is Berry Bite. I may have written it down someplace, but I took the label off and I put it someplace, and of course it's not doing me a damn bit of good. Now, I still have beads of sweat going on here, so this might not go on evenly, but let's see. Oh, I'm going to ask you guys, if my cheeks on this side looks swollen to you at all, I'm hoping it doesn't. I hope that I don't have an infection. One of my Facebook friends is concerned that if I don't get the tooth taken care of, it's going to get an infection. It's going to spread to my brain and kill me. Well, if I die in Washington, D.C., get me a cardboard box, put some holes in it to make it easier for the worms to find me. I got some friends there. They can identify the body. Hopefully it won't cost my mother a whole lot of money, because I don't want to be a burden to her. But I think it's important to follow your dreams and to do special things, and especially if they are historic things. I'll be able to be in the audience for the Capitol 4th, which I usually watch on TV. The only time I haven't watched it on TV is those years that I went to Philadelphia for the 4th of July. And Philly's a good place to watch July 4th because that's the birthplace of our nation. But the only problem is the place where they have the fireworks, that it also, for some reason, attracts some really negative people that remind me a lot of the people in my hometown. I get the haters that give me the Halloween comments and stuff. So, and I haven't been to Philadelphia aside from when it's a stop on my way from Washington, D.C. and stuff. But I just, plus bus fare keeps on going up, so I just don't go for willy-nilly reasons. And due to the current political climate, certain events that I often went to, like the Pride and the Outfest and stuff, they seem to be so negative toward Republicans, and I don't like to feel that I am totally hated. Who does, right? So I just don't go certain places like I used to. But I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. soon, and oh, I love that place so much. And now that, you know, hot weather, I don't like to be cold. And now that I have SPF 100, I don't have to worry about it. I mean, I'm still bringing an umbrella, but I realize I'm not going to be able to carry it on the 4th where the president's going to be, because that's a security thing. So anyway, this is what the makeup looks like. Does my mouth look asymmetrical? I really try to get it even. I'm afraid because of the dental issues, it's screwing things up. But you know what? I can only do what I can do. I hope that everything's okay through my trip to Washington, D.C. I hope I don't have any problems. I don't want to have to go to any emergency rooms or deal with any bullshit there, because I don't want to have anything to stress over. But if you like this makeup look, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I would really be honored if you would subscribe. And if you do, hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything. I make new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for your viewing pleasure. And the pleasure's all mine because I love doing this. If I didn't love doing it, I wouldn't do it. Anyway, have a good day. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.